Coming up now on Animal Outtakes, so these are eating mosquitoes.
Yes, they eat mosquitoes.
Wow.
They eat mosquito larvae.
These little pests can be deadly. How this team is keeping track of mosquitoes. Why did you choose these beautiful creatures?
They chose me.
They chose you.
I don't know. They chose me.
We'll visit an organization that is dedicated to finding homes for birds. Eric, these are truly denizens of the deep.
They are.
But they are awesome. And stingrays. You can touch them here at the aquarium. But what about that venomous spine? This and much more straight ahead on Animal Outtakes. Hello and welcome to Animal Outtakes. I'm Marcia Panucci, and this is my best friend, Zeus. There aren't too many animals that I don't like, but there is one that I'm pretty confident nobody wants around them: mosquitoes. And would you believe in many counties you can find a team of people dedicated to monitoring these pesky critters. With lab coats on and lots of high-tech machines, this laboratory is for monitoring some dangerous creatures. With about 20 full-time staff, the Sarasota County Mosquito Management Team is keeping people safe by monitoring these little buggers. Let's go to the basic.
Yes.
What is a mosquito?
A mosquito is a type of fly that has 2 wings, 6 legs, and they just happen to feed on blood, the females do, for egg production. They actually all feed on nectar for energy. They're all somewhat of pollinators. They do have a role in nature. Everything has some sort of role. Other things eat them. You could always say they're population control because of the diseases they spread.
Mosquitoes feed on blood. Some species prefer human blood. And when one host is bitten and then another, that's when disease can be transferred. Staff here are constantly checking mosquitoes they trap throughout Sarasota County. If a mosquito is found with a harmful disease, then a field team is sent out to eliminate the mosquitoes in that particular area. Matt, we're here in the laboratory, and there's some very sophisticated equipment going on here.
Yes.
So could you explain the procedures?
This is where we do our disease surveillance or disease testing, and it's molecular testing, meaning we're actually looking for diseases on a molecular level. So the diseases we tend to look for are viruses like West Nile virus, Zika virus, chikungunya, those sorts of things. And so what we actually do is grind up the mosquitoes and look for the presence of that virus DNA, that genetic material, on a molecular level.
Another way to determine if any mosquitoes are carrying disease? Well, you just check the chickens. So Matt,
Yeah.
this is not what I expected to find here. These are chickens.
Yeah, these are chickens.
And what do they have to do with mosquitoes?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of the viruses that we deal with or that we're concerned about, like West Nile virus and Eastern equine encephalitis, are bird viruses. So the virus exists in the bird population. It amplifies by going bird to bird with mosquitoes, and we're dead-end hosts. So every now and then you get a mosquito that not only likes birds, but it likes humans, and so it bites an infected bird, bites us. We can get the virus, usually not. So, but what we do is we put birds in the field that are easy to deal with. Chickens are, they're large, are easy to draw blood from, and they have a really good immune response. The virus doesn't affect them. If they contract the virus, their immune system produces antibodies instantly for it and defeats it. And so once a week we draw a little bit of blood and we check it for the presence of antibodies to those viruses, and if it's there and they've been in a cage in the middle of the field somewhere, we know that there's mosquitoes out there somewhere with the virus.
Well, it's good to know that they're not sacrificing themselves.
No, none of them get eaten. They all retire after they've been positive for a disease. They get retired and found homes.
And they're taken care of very well, and they're thanked for their great service.
Natalie Osborne, our biologist in charge of the Sentinel program, she loves the chickens. She takes excellent care of them. These are well cared for birds.
One of the main things we can all do to protect each other is not to breed them. Standing water is where mosquitoes like to lay eggs.
This is the Mosquito Fish Aquaculture Center. Not just this, all of this. This is just a simple inventory control. We use these just like we do a chemical product, but it's biocontrol. They just eat fish, and so when technicians come in, they have 24 fish per tank, so 24 fish is roughly a treatment for like a small swimming pool. So this makes it available to the technicians that we can count how many fish go out. And then all these tanks behind us, and then beyond that is the aquaponics. This is all where the fish, the adult fish, live and have babies. They don't lay eggs, they're live bears, kind of like wild guppies. They're native, and we raise them here and then send them out into the field to eat mosquitoes so that we don't have to use as much chemical.
So these are eating mosquitoes?
Yes, they eat mosquitoes.
Wow.
They eat mosquito larvae.
Okay.
They eat the larvae because mosquito are aquatic insects, so they lay their eggs in water, which hatch into the little wiggly larvae. The larvae like to stay up near the top, and these things tend to spend most of their time around the top too. So they're in the same place at the same time, and they're always hungry. They can eat upwards of 100 larvae per day.
If you would like to help with mosquito research, you can. Samford University has developed a mosquito monitoring app, A-Buzz. Basically, you record the buzzing sound of a mosquito near you on your cell phone. Every skeeter species has their own particular sound, and the app can give researchers a detailed map as to where the most dangerous kinds of mosquitoes are located. Parrots are one of the longest living pets you can have, and with that comes a lot of responsibility. Some birds will even outlive their owners. And when that happens, Parrot Outreach Society swoops in. Pam, we're here in paradise, it looks like.
Kinda.
How many birds do you have here?
In the shop, we have a little over 100 total. We have 150 to 180 at any given time.
Oh my goodness. What is your outreach program about?
The majority, I would say, of our birds come in from older people that can't take care of them. The bird lives so long that they outlive their human. There's no such thing as a forever home.
This is self-mutilation.
Yes.
Why do they do that?
We don't know.
Nerves, perhaps?
It
Stress?
it can be stress. There can be some physical reason that they do it. That's only 1 to 2% of birds.
Now, if somebody comes in here to Parrot Outreach, can they adopt a bird?
They can. They absolutely can. And what we do is we ask them to come in with an open mind. It's okay to think, well, I want this species of bird, but they need to come in and interact with each bird in each different species. And the bird has to have a say in the process.
So does the bird pick the owner?
Yes. Most of the time, that's what happens.
So many of them, Pam, have such extensive vocabulary.
They do.
Now, how did they get that vocabulary? Were they taught?
They learn it from the people surrounding them and their environment, things they hear day after day. I was saying these two talk up a storm, and generally their conversation is a phone conversation. That we all have those phrases that we use frequently, and they'll pick up on that. And they'll start to use it, and many of them learn to use it quite appropriately.
Now, in the whole scheme of things, I mean, there's some of us that are in dog rescue, as you know, that's what I am, and cat rescue and such. And here we have these beautiful parrots. Why is this so important that somebody should have a Pam to be able to turn to?
The market was flooded with these birds back in the 60s and 70s when import was open. They brought them in, many died, but many were used to reproduce, just like every other animal. And now their owners are elderly, and they can't take care of these birds anymore. And like with Cracker, she can live to be 80 years old. That's probably on the high end in reality, in captivity. But she's not going to have one home. She's not going to have two homes. she's going to probably have between 5 and 10 homes in her lifetime.
So there is validity to the fact that if you do have one of these gorgeous creatures, they should actually be acknowledged in a will or a trust. If you have somebody that you can pass this on to, you do. And if not, we pass it on to Pam.
Yeah.
For more information on the Parrot Outreach Society, visit them on their website. There you can check out some of the adoptable birds that are in need of a new coop. Do you know what the most common bird in the world is? The chicken. Stay with us. More Animal Outtakes is coming up next.
Over 90% of the seafood that is coming in to this country is raised in areas of the world that don't have the highest standards. And so our approaches are aimed for two things. One is to help feed the world. The second is to do it in an environmentally friendly and sustainable way.
Many active duty servicemen and women face a dilemma as they prepare for deployment. Who will look after their canine companion until they return? Dante's Den provides temporary boarding for their dogs as they serve. We honor the trust placed in us by members of the armed forces by giving their furry friends loving care, spacious dens, on-site veterinary care, and plenty of room to run and play. For more information, go to dantesden.org or call 844-DANTES-DEN.
The crested caracara is listed in Florida as threatened. Their numbers have declined due to many factors, including illegal hunting. Help support efforts to eliminate the threat of illegal hunting, not just for birds of prey such as the caracara, but for all wildlife. Always alert authorities if you see people hunting illegally, or if you see wildlife parts such as feathers being sold illegally.
Every dog deserves a lifelong loving home. Dante's Den provides a pristine, comfortable haven for dogs that have been abandoned or surrendered by their owners. Every pup in our Joyful Dogs adoption program receives lots of love and attention, is properly immunized, spayed or neutered, and is in good health. Find your new furry best friend at Dante's Den. For more information, go to dantesden.org or call 844-DANTES-DEN. Welcome back. Closely related to sharks, the stingray is a majestic animal that glides through the water like a bird flapping its wings. And we got a chance to see them in action. Eric, these are truly denizens of the deep.
They are.
But they are awesome. So who do we have here? We have...
Yeah, that ray, you got to catch them quick while they're going by. That's a southern ray. And here comes a cownose ray. And you can really see that look when you look through the window straight on them. You'll see that kind of cow-shaped face. And then straight down here are a pair of horseshoe crabs.
This guy over here.
Yeah, the cownose ray.
He's eyeing us, isn't he?
You know what? They do pay attention to what's going on. Our biologists work with all of the rays so that, here's one of the best things. We could feed the animals by just putting all the food out there, and some would get a lot of food, some would get a little food, but so much better to make sure, just like when you and I go to have dinner, you don't just all wrestle for food in the middle of the table. We all have a place at the table.
Sure.
It's the same way with all of our animals here. The biologists work as a team with all the different rays in here and the fish to make sure that they each have a station to come over and feed, and they get the proper amount of food, and it helps us give them the best care and the best wellness.
Now,
but you also have an opportunity to get up close and touch them and build that trusting relationship.
Can we do that?
Exactly. You got it right. 2 fingers right on the wing.
And very, very, very slippery, very
smooth.
Yes, very smooth.
Almost soft.
But now that powerful stinger on the back.
Well, you got to respect the ray barb. We can trim them just the way we trim our fingernails, and we do that as part of their wellness checks. But in the wild, too, you can take a couple of simple steps, literal steps, doing the stingray shuffle, where you want to slide your feet over the sand as opposed to just stomping through the water. That way you're not as likely to accidentally stand on a ray, and that's what triggers them to sting. They don't use that as a weapon of aggression. They use it only as a last resort to protect themselves.
Now we're here located on the Gulf Coast of Florida, and we go swimming in the Gulf, and for some particular reason we don't think that they're there, but they are, right?
Sure is, and we're glad they're there. They're a sign of a healthy ecosystem. When we see those schools of condos raised, sometimes in the dozens, sometimes in the thousands, swimming in our Gulf, we think, oh right, that means there's a healthy shellfish population. That means the water quality of the bay is improving. Those are all good indicators. We want to see these animals in the wild and respect them and share their environment. There you go. Yeah, 2 fingers down there. Perfect.
Woo!
Yeah, you got that technique.
Got the technique, huh?
It is. It's what keeps them coming back. If you grab them, then they're going to be startled and swim away, and then party's over.
And when you do get up close and personal, you forget about your fear.
That's
There
right.
is no fear. They're just absolutely beautiful creatures.
Fascination just pushes that fear right out the window.
Here's something to chew on. You may know the stingrays can catch their food with their mouth by sucking it in. But scientists have recently discovered some species of rays chew their food, opposed to swallowing it whole as previously thought. Stingrays, like sharks, don't have bones like you and I. Instead, their skeleton is made of cartilage, like our ears and our nose. Coming up next on Animal Outtakes, look at my new friend. Our next guest is one of the largest species of snakes you'll find in Australia. The olive python gets its name due to its color, which is usually olive green. Well, Terry, I guess I'm meeting Gloria.
You're meeting Gloria.
All right, and
Very pleasant young lady.
yes, well, how long is she?
She's about 12 and a half feet long.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah,
And how old is she?
Gloria is about 20 years old.
So she's got a long ways to go. You know, we so many times talk about birds that you have to put them in your will or you have to make accommodations.
Absolutely.
So if you have a snake like this as a pet, although you have told us pets for anaconda is really not a good equation, but let's say you have other snakes, you have to make accommodations for them in
Absolutely.
case something happens to you.
You should be responsible in that regard for any animal that's in your care. Even
Yes.
if it's one that's going to live for 5 years, you should
Sure.
make sure that it's got a place to go if you're no longer there.
That's right, because they depend upon us, there's no question. Now, she's got a beautiful face. There's a lot of teeth here that I'm seeing that I, for some reason,
those
did
aren't
not
teeth.
see. What is that, Ben?
Those are the pits, the
those are
labial
the
pits, as we
pits.
call them.
Uh-huh,
And that's how she senses infrared heat.
I see.
And these guys are from Australia. They're primarily river dwellers. They live in the water quite a bit of the time. They will eat most anything. So they're generalists, as we call them.
Yes. Non-discriminating.
Anything but pizza. They're about the only animal I know that doesn't eat pizza.
Oh,
Even a croc will eat pizza, believe it or
Really?
not. Yeah, I think anything takes it. The olive pythons can make phenomenal pets, but there's a big caveat here. That caveat is geographic morph. Different locations produce different animals, even though it's the same species. And they can be of significantly different behavior. That's very, very important to know. The animals that I have come from a small area up in northern Australia where all of the olive pythons are extremely easygoing and well-mannered. That is not necessarily true of other olive pythons. Same species.
I'm getting the hissing.
But it's not hissing.
What is that?
Look at where her nostrils are and look which way they point. They point back over
They
here.
pat.
The
They're
air
going
is
back.
coming this way. So it makes a noise when it comes out, but everything goes back that way. The reason for it is they're ambush predators, and they can come right up to a mouse or something like it, and the mouse doesn't know they're there because snakes have very little odor. They do it very carefully and very slowly. They can get close enough to get dinner.
So they sneak up.
They do, and that's a big part of it, because if she was breathing or another snake is breathing straight ahead, you start to have real problems with, the mouse. Can feel it, can smell it. Coming to say hello.
Well, how are you,
She's
sweetheart?
a very gentle soul. She's gentle as can be. She's a gentle soul. And she enjoys being out. She enjoys being handled. She'll hang out with you forever.
Olive pythons are harmless and they are non-venomous. But they are commonly mistaken for this guy, a king brown, one of Australia's most dangerous venomous snakes. To a layperson, it would be tough to tell them apart. We'll be right back. Every dog deserves a lifelong loving home. Dante's Den provides a pristine, comfortable haven for dogs that have been abandoned or surrendered by their owners. We ensure that every pup in our Joyful Dogs adoption program receives lots of love and attention, is properly immunized, spayed or neutered, and is in good health. Prospective pet parents undergo a thorough adoption review to ensure a lifetime of love and care. Find your new furry best friend at Dante's Den. For more information, go to dantesden.org or call 844-DANTES-DEN. Dante's Den, continuing the love.
All right, so we have Shelly here. What is Shelly? Can you come over here? This is Shelly, our little sweetheart, and we want her to learn how to sit. So when you teach, well, she's a very good student. When you're teaching a dog, it's good to let her see the treat, and you want to use very tiny pieces. Now, normally, if you have a dog that doesn't already have sit, you would just kind of lure her back and see how as soon as she sat down, so see she's up, you could lure her with this, and the minute her butt hits the ground, say sit. Good, and she gets a treat. Okay, so you want to try it? Give you a little piece. Let's first get her to stand. Can you stand up? Come here. Come on, Shelly. Okay, so you want to just show her the treat and kind of, that's it, sit. And you give her, the minute she sits. Now the thing is, when you're teaching them how to sit, you don't want to hold the treat way up here, because then they might jump up for the treat. So normally you would just keep it to their nose and give them, but if they didn't want to sit, you would kind of bring their head. See how when I do this, her head goes back? So if she was standing, she would automatically, her butt would go down as her head goes up. And then the minute her bottom hits the ground, you would say, sit. You give it a treat, say, good girl, and give her a little praise. Basically, you are the leader in the pack. So you want them to know that, okay, I have to be a certain way in order to get something good. So there is a phrase that says, nothing in life is free when it comes to the dogs. They have to know how to do this. And this is basically the guideline for teaching a dog how to be polite. Because from here now, we could teach them how to stay. So slowly what you do is kind of step away, but see how now she comes to me, but over time, Shelly, over here, here, and see now what, sit, good. Now you see the minute her butt hit the ground, you say the word. You don't want to say it before that, and that way they learn. But it's just the groundwork for teaching the following things that they're going to learn in the future, like stay, or to wait for when they're getting food. It's very important. You want them to be able to sit politely. You don't want a dog jumping all over you when you're putting the food down. The dog should be sitting like that. You should be able to place the food on the floor, stay, and then they could get it.
We hope you've had fun and learned a thing or two along the way. Zeus and I will be back here again next week with even more animals and some wild adventures. Until then, thanks for watching.
And
This is the headline, so this is the top of the show.
Give it to me quick. Stop talking.
wait. All right, hold on. Wait, 3, 2, 1.
Come on. Come on. That was good. Up we go. Yay! Woo! Woo!
I've got you in a wider. Can I take the sunglasses?
Oh, yeah, please. Yeah. I'm not going to have anything left of my name. They sell this stuff afterward.
Yeah. No
Oh, that's it.
way.
I'm being roundly abused by the videographer here.